Good morning. This is Katie Huff with Katie Huff Ministries, the podcast that wants you to be, do, and have all that God created you to be. You are to be set free from whatever's holding you back, and that's why we're here. And I am thrilled that I have Dr. Spurrill, my favorite physician from Synapse Center for Health and Healing. And you can go and get a discovery call with him by going to free discovery page on his website, which is officialsnaps.com. So I am excited. There's been lots of great things that have been happening in the last couple months.
Yes.
So we are here to encourage, empower, and just support all of you to walk out the calling on your life. So thank you, Dr. Spurl. It's always a blessing and an honor to have you on the podcast. So what's new? There's lots of things burning and churning.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of things burning and churning. We're in full force right now when it comes to cleaning up our systems. We're seeing everything that's happening at a national scale with Doge and going in there and cleaning up those systems. But even RFK and the FDA, we're starting to see the groundwork be set for that too. So a lot of good things happening. One of the questions I'm getting from a lot of people is, are we going to see a change with our insurance industry covering healthcare, like good proactive preventive healthcare? And I'm here to tell people the answer is actually no. It's probably not going to look that way, and there's certain things that have to play out. So I want to just kind of talk about that a little bit. Number one, insurance really is only set up to pay for when there's damage to the body. So, for example, car insurance will only pay when the car is damaged, house insurance when the house is damaged. So, health insurance is the same way, and that's kind of where people don't quite make the connection because they think health insurance should actually help them be healthy, and it doesn't. It's not made that way. So they're not going to require that. So what they're going to do is clean up all the food and drug because it's our food is toxic to us, a lot of it. And that's step one. Step two is we have to get the economy corrected.
Mm.
So President Trump balancing the budget is actually key for our healthcare scenarios. Eventually, when that happens and we have a balanced budget and we have our debt reduction, then the government's going to be able to pour into something along the lines of tax credits or HSAs. That's what we're going to see is HSA, which is health savings accounts for every family. So start doing that now. Get your HSAs ready. Just like if you had a house project, you have to save up the money to pay for that. Same
Right.
thing for your health and health care. Proactive. President Trump is going to allow people to have the freedom to choose what type of health support they need. So start budgeting for it right now because it does cost hundreds and thousands of dollars for lab work and treatments to look at doing things proactively. So if you have a disease and a diagnosis, then that means there's damage, and you will probably still have the traditional healthcare system to work with. But a lot of people are really they have symptoms, but not necessarily a disease yet. So they need and would require more of the functional medicine approach. And we're about to see a complete shift in our healthcare system model where the first line of therapy is more of the diet and lifestyle and functional medicine approach. And that's very exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Empowering people to take ownership of their health,
Yes.
not necessarily waiting till the disease is full blown.
Yeah. Well, we can't right now. We're actually so sick. Our level of dysfunction and disease at this point is already enough to take down an entire country if we actually had a national healthcare system. So it's too much at this point. So that's why changing the food is so important because we need to clean that up first and stop poisoning ourselves, stop making ourselves sick. Plus, just the conflict and the turmoil, all those things, the constant stress, it becomes significant on our health as well. So there is a phase and stage of healing that's going to be required, and we're maybe 2 years out from that, but we know it's on the horizon, and we are preparing for that. Synapse, we are actually onboarding 100 different affiliate clinics around the country, teaching them how to do functional medicine from a kingdom business model mindset, knowing your identity in Christ. And I'll say this: I'm meeting with clinic owners weekly, and I just got a message from one of them who's expressed an extreme interest, and her favorite part was knowing your identity in Christ. As a business owner, what does God want you to do with your healthcare clinic? Think about the decisions and the things that can happen from a healthcare perspective when God is directing the decision making.
Well, miracles happen from my perspective.
That's right. That's right.
So that's an exciting, exciting future that we have. And I'm so grateful that we do have you and Robert Kennedy, Meha, which I
Yeah,
love. And it's nice. We have really been able to find some restaurants that actually are using tallow in their fried,
that's great.
which is huge.
Yes, yeah, we're seeing a shift too. So there's some nice recognition of seed oils and it's switching over to some more natural products. So yeah, we I can't wait for that to be everything because even if you look at what they're doing, they're trying to bring back manufacturing back to America. Now that's really important for, if we got into a war with China, for example, and China's making all our steel, then they just have to cut off our steel production and we can't actually keep up with them. So we're definitely bringing back all the manufacture, but we also have to bring back our local food being grown in the United States. Because when we import things, they have to spray it,
Yeah.
and they spray it with things that aren't good for us. And so we want local communities to improve in their farm to table for the restaurants, for the grocery stores, and same thing with the healthcare clinics. We need local communities actually doing this work. And this is what, when I was meeting with General Flynn, and there's a large group of us, he really did speak into us starting at the local communities and making sure that the local community foundations are reestablished, because that's what we're doing right now. We're bringing everything back to reestablish the local community for our food, the local community for our healthcare, and local community for our jobs. So a lot of exciting things happening.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting because it seems like, which is a good thing, that there's more and more conversations around the tables in regards to this particular aspect of what we're trying to do to clean up our country and our food and our health is the
Yeah.
whole purpose of being proactive versus and being preventive than reactive and costly.
Yeah, and a lot of people are upset as far as just like tariffs and things like that because of the international impact. But the reality is there has been an unknown consequence of the free trade and the international trade. Now, we don't want to get rid of that altogether, and we're not doing it to harm the other countries. We're doing it because we're so upside down ourselves financially. We're so upside down with our health systems, and it will empower and impact these other countries to develop leaders that actually focus on their own systems as well. Because the good thing with the free trade is just experiencing these other cultures and these other um, communities, these other worlds, what they can offer in different ways. But the bad thing is you start to lose your own identity, and you actually lose control of the finances, the health in these other countries as well. So the side effect of President Trump doing what he's doing is going to be these other countries are going to step up and become more self-sufficient themselves, and then be able to trade equally. Africa, Canada, the UK, all of these countries have an opportunity to actually do more and be more with their own identity, and stop and not take things so personally. I've seen presidents in Africa say we should be in charge. They have the most raw resources on the planet, but it's because of their government corruption that they're not taking advantage of it. While Trump is empowering them to actually take responsibility for their country and start to do more. Canada is taking a heavy hit right now, and I'm from Canada, so I'm speaking to a lot of my family, and they're very upset with a lot of what's going on. But the reality is, they need better leadership up in Canada, and they need to be focusing themselves on what they can produce. There's such good people up there that are hardworking, and when this all settles out and things are balanced, Canada will be much further ahead than they were before. They just have to get through the trials here, the season of of dysfunction, if you will.
Oh yeah, it's interesting you bring up Canada, obviously because you're from there, but I was celebrating St. Patrick's Day, which has been a huge cultural event in my life, and the Edmonton Bagpiper and Drum Corps comes down, and I've
Yeah,
been with them for over 30 years. And the conversations with a couple of them were, some of them were, as you can imagine, were very heated, and
yeah,
others were just like, we don't let politics get in the way of our relationships with you, and this is how it's supposed to be. And so it was very enlightening and a couple times, very stressful because, of course, I was talking about my belief in what we're doing as a country.
yeah.
So I'm sure you can appreciate being from Canada and experiencing some of those, you got both sides of the fence in every country across the world.
Yeah, and they don't quite see it yet because they just are blaming one man and his policies, and they really don't understand the depths of problems we're in. They don't understand how close we were to losing our country, and as much as I respect Canadians and how they treat people, if the United States goes down, Canada goes down.
Right.
There is no protection for Canada. Canada does not have the armed forces to actually protect their own people if the United States goes down. And so it there's a lot to this, and they don't like they could argue that we're not in that bad a state, but the reality is our financial debt. They call us the wealthiest country in the world. We're not the wealthiest country. We produce the most income. We're in the top when it comes to that. But our debt, it doesn't matter if your debt is what it is in the trillions compared to what you're actually bringing in. You're not actually a wealthy country.
No.
And so we were very susceptible to being taken over and being lost from a military perspective, from a financial perspective, from a food perspective, and from a manufacturing perspective. So although I don't know why this is not being explained, I do think President Trump could explain it in a different way instead of just doing his thing. But that's the way God made him. He's the businessman, he's the wheeler and the dealer, and he's getting the job done. And truthfully, and Canadians may not get this, but 70% of the people here in the United States, Democrat and left, say that President Trump is doing what he said he would do. And he has the highest approval rating he's ever had,
Mm.
including the highest approval rating for any president in the last 25 years. So that is when it comes to where he's at in his stage. So that it's uncomfortable for a lot of people, but you have to see the end. Now, everyone needs to know that, especially Canadians, they are our allies, and we are going to be bringing things together. But there's things that have to be rooted out within our own compromised government, um, our three-letter agencies, and things that need to be fixed. We are just in the beginning of a restoration phase. And Kim Clement had a prophecy for this time in this season. And not to beat up on my Canadians, because I know the people that listen to your podcasts are probably we probably share the same faith. But Canada as a country, um, they really need to find God. They need to find Jesus as a country because it would make it a lot easier for them to understand what's going on. Our prophet Kim Clement said that he brought forth President Trump to be his David for this season, to take down the brothers of Goliath, the Goliath of debt, the Goliath of socialism, and the Goliath of secularism. And so when you see that and you run through that prophecy, he also said, halfway through my David's second term during the restoration phase. there will be a woman who helps with the healing and bring the country back together. So that's coming. And the end of the prophecy basically says that we are going to see signs and wonders. We're going to see spiritual and financial blessings, the likes of which the world has never seen before. So there's some rough stuff going on here that's gotta be, the tearing down before the build back up, but it's happening. This is just what it looks like. So leading with grace and mercy is our job, helping, especially our Canadian brothers and sisters feel better, our Mexican brothers and sisters feel better, our European, our African, South African brothers and sisters feel better. That's what we're here for. So we will help with that and help people get through this challenging season.
Well, it's always darkest before we see the light, right?
Yep. Yes. Looking forward for that light. I feel like we're
Yeah.
in yeah, I feel like we're in the northern part of the hemisphere here in Alaska during the dark season where they don't have the sun.
God knows in the winter there's only like 3 hours of light in
Yeah.
Alaska.
Yeah.
Was there, done that, and I was just like, I said it was the longest day of my life
Yeah.
when it was so, or longest night because it was so dark.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
my goodness. Yeah, so it's going to be difficult, but I remember the statement of you have to tear the Band-Aid off the wound
Yeah.
first, and that can be a little painful in the beginning, but the healing process won't come unless we do that.
Yeah, that's right. And the wound needs to be exposed. So the difference is we have a generational president who's willing to take all these arrows and bullets and stuff and look like the bad guy until he's not. And so, and truthfully, what he's doing is what any good business owner would do. This is how you take a failing business company and restructure. You have to just do a clean sweep and take care of departments that are not necessarily profitable or departments that are completely we don't have a good idea of what they're even bringing to the table. So you have to get rid of them until you balance the budget and then start bringing the finances in. And then you bring back the key missing parts of what you got rid of. And that's what they're doing. President Trump knows how to do this. He's rescued many companies this way. He's been through bankruptcy. He gets beat up all the time for taking things through bankruptcy, but that's how you learn. He's been prepared and equipped to do this. So we are essentially a bankrupt nation that's being brought back from the brink of bankruptcy to a thriving nation. And when this happens, this is when the Christians need to step up and need to be giving biblically, need to be giving of their time, their resources, and their finances to pour into people so that they will know us by our fruit. This is the season that we're walking into right now because this is not to get rich and to get wealthy as individuals. This is to protect and save ourselves so that we can then show the heart of Christ to people across the nations, across the world.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah.
They will know us by our, what's that song? They will know us by our love, by our love. They will know us by our love.
Yeah. And so it just looks a little different. Right now, love is the hard conversation, the respect me enough to be honest with me type of thing, and that's what's happening right now. And it's the tough love that people are going through right now, and then the other I've got you love is coming, and then eventually, hopefully, there's a form of agape love that people will experience as well.
That's when we're singing Kumbaya.
That's right.
It's
Yes.
awesome. Yeah. And it's sad because in a lot of ways, people don't know who Jesus is.
Yeah.
And and I think in fact I know they're in fear.
Yeah.
Fear mode brings up a lot of issues. The
Yeah,
f-
well, and fear also activates a part of our brain, the amygdala, that ends up shutting down our prefrontal cortex. So that's our problem-solving part of the brain. That's how we see the world, part of the brain. And so that's why you honestly see a lot of these people in the media. You see them kind of flipping out if they're from the left and far left. And I've had a lot of conversations with friends and with patients and colleagues and even within family where someone, a son, a daughter, a brother, a sister has stopped communicating with them because they voted for President Trump. And so it's such a seared consciousness where they're choosing to get rid of a relationship with a loved family member because of what they think is going on, and it's driven by fear, and it looks irrational for those of us who see things very different. Because our come from is we're trying to help people. We think we're doing the right thing. They just think we're dumb. Is the feedback we're getting. But it's heart-wrenching. I just had a pretty significant conversation with a colleague last night that was struggling with a family relationship because of what's happening politically. And the younger generation in particular is a lot of them are just tuned into this mindset of just they're bad, they're evil, and the thing is when the difference is when you don't agree with something, when President Trump lost in 2020, we didn't see things being burned, we didn't see things being shot up, we didn't see relationships being dismantled, saying I'm never talking to you again.
Right,
But we're seeing that now.
right,
And so there's a problem. That means these people are living in a fear state and they're not able to reconcile, problem solve, and actually get through it. So they do require compassion and empathy as they're calling us names and saying that we're doing things that they're actually doing.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I always say fear is false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
And they are at a point where sometimes you can't even have a conversation because they're just like shut down, which is
Yeah.
fortunate and sad, but hopefully with prayers and timing that they will come to say, okay, let's have a conversation. In fact, my husband and I were having dinner last night with a friend, and we were having these conversations, and she's not as faith-filled as we are, if you will.
Yep.
I mean, even at the end of the conversation, we were still loving each other, having a conversation, and even saying we need to have more of these types of
Yeah.
conversations with the people.
Yep. I agree. Yeah. 100%. And a lot of the those conversations are about to be had in the upcoming years here, but there's a lot of trauma is the word that people are going through on both sides of it, but especially the ones that don't understand what's going on the left. It's very traumatic for them, and so a lot of what we do at the clinic is working with trauma. And so we know how to recognize it, and we know how to help usher people through a healing phase after they've been through traumatic events. And so we'll be teaching that across the country. But the reality is God prepared and equipped us to be able to handle that because of all the trauma that's there. And the first thing that ideally, the first thing that you would do is go to the Bible, go to God. And if you're not familiar with God, it's okay to pray and just ask God, what do you want me to know? Ask God to introduce you to Jesus and say, what do you want me to know? And then just listen and tell you, because God is alive. God will speak to you. So I encourage people who want to um, find that peace that a lot of us have, whether we are in agreement with the leader or not. Um, if you want that peace, lean in, find God, and develop that relationship, and you'll be surprised how comfortable with life you become, even when life itself is very, very uncomfortable.
I experience a little bit of peace,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
good.
a thing.
Yeah, fruit of the spirit, love, joy, peace. There's so much that we can experience when we're actually aligning and walking with God.
Mm. So let's talk about these 100 locations that you are going to be working with, and that's the goal. So we can maybe spark some interest with people that will be listening.
Yeah, sure. So we're vetting multiple different practitioners. So you can be a sole practitioner, you can have a full functioning clinic, you could be a medical doctor, nurse practitioner, chiropractor who doesn't do functional medicine but wants to learn it. So we are actively interviewing, and we'll probably go through and have about 500 to 1,000 conversations to find our 100, just to kind of find the fits. And we're looking for every state to be represented, and we will teach people how to know their God-given identity, and then to start how to be a profitable kingdom business model that pours into the people. So we're sharing all of our protocols, our functional medicine protocols, 30 years worth of uh, knowledge when it comes to running a functional medicine business and practice, as well as the health side of it. And Yeah, we've already started. We weren't going to start until April, but we had many people reach out early, and so we've already had well over 25 conversations and have onboarded some clinics already in Minnesota, Texas, Ohio, and Florida. So we'll be working with many, many more. It's a slow process because we're looking for the right people, and you don't have to have a large clinic. Some people don't even have a brick and mortar. They're just running their business through consulting like this, through Zoom and things of that nature. So if you're interested in being part of that affiliate um, program, you can go to our website, officialsynapse.com, and look under the About Us button. There's a Synapse affiliate program. Just fill out the information there and we'll contact you. And that's generally what we're looking for. And the analogy I like to give, we're not wanting to turn people into another Synapse, like a chain restaurant. We're looking for a mom pa restaurant that, whatever you're passionate about, keep it authentically you, and we're just going to be like coaching and bringing you along. So you'll be affiliate. You will get recognition from us. You'll get the protection of a larger um, group sharing information with this large group. And so we have a saying, excellence without ego. And so there'll be a lot of looking at the data as a group and problem solving. So it's like being in business for yourself, but not by yourself.
which is great.
Yep.
That's good. So
Yep.
is there a specific, I know you mentioned often nurse practitioners and PAs and MDs, or what is it that you would be looking, I mean, what other types of experience or educational backgrounds that you would be looking for?
Well, it actually doesn't matter because we've had PTs reach out, we've had health coaches reach out, chiropractors, we've had medical doctors, nurse practitioners, chiropractors again. And so some of them know functional medicine, some of them don't. Some of them have unique specialties, like one clinic just works with enzymes and does enzyme therapy. And so that's their unique specialty. Another one is a dermatologist, but is looking to do things in a more natural functional medicine way. And so we have heard from a lot of different types of
Educational.
individuals and clinics. Yeah. So as long as you have a license in the healthcare field, we want you to reach out. And depending on what area you're from, we're not going to take two people that are like within the same city block or anything like that. So we will be taking people based on the region and the population density. Like down in Texas, we might have someone on the north side of Dallas and someone on the south side of Dallas, but we're looking for basically representation in two different states. It depends on what your vision is too. Some people want to build a functional medicine clinic. Like for us, we have a 6,000 square foot facility, over 20 employees and staff members with MDs, nurse practitioners, nurses, chiropractors, coaches. So if you want something like that, we'll show you how to build that as well. If you want something just small and more manageable, we'll show you how to build that in the same way. So as long as you have a passion for healthcare and you have a wantingness and willingness to run a very well run functional medicine facility in whatever form, or just even be a part of our affiliate team, reach out and we'll be very open and honest with our conversations. We'll show you basically what we're doing, give you the specifics, and then we can make some decisions from there. So we've had a lot of people go through it and a lot of conversations, And for some, it's not a fit, and for others, they tear up because it's such a fit. So you'll know.
Yes, yes, for sure. Well, that is absolutely incredible. I am so grateful that you are doing that because I'm all on that. It's definitely um obviously doing the work of God, and hopefully and prayerfully people will come to know Jesus through this process, and will tear up when they can heal someone naturally and functionally versus pharmaceutically. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
pharmaceuticals are important for a lot of things, but there's nothing better than having a fine-tuned machine
absolutely.
that works with.
Yeah, treating the body that the way God designed us is a very different approach, and it can really prevent the need for a lot of pharmaceuticals in the nutritional system. So we're about to see a little switch here, and it's already happening because the local trauma hospital here in downtown in the Twin Cities here has had me do rounds with their surgical team and just talk to them about functional medicine, and it's been eye-opening. There's a lot of value there, so that's been really rewarding to work with and see how they operate, and they can see how we would operate as well. So a lot of really cool things. God is working really in a miraculous way right now. This is a tremendous time in history. It's very, very biblical what we're going through right now.
It is, and it's an amazing experience to witness people coming to know God and shifting. And it's
Yeah,
gonna be awesome because his ways are better than our ways, and you just have to surrender and realize that there's something much bigger and better on the other side of this. And so instead of fighting it, embracing it and
yeah,
realizing that our bodies were created to be functional, not to be diseased. And
absolutely.
dis-ease is
That's
how you
right.
spell disease. And
That's right.
so it's awesome. So I really am excited for what this year is going to bring, and coming alongside and talking to people. And I have some people in mind, even in my own area right now, and I will be referring them because we need that out here as well. So,
I'm biased, but I think we need it everywhere.
amen. I agree.
Yeah.
Some places need it a little more than others, and where I
Yes,
one of
absolutely.
those areas that needs it a little bit more than others.
Absolutely.
So, but it's all been great. So this has been awesome. I'm excited. I'm gonna make sure that I get this to even many of my people that are chiropractors and functional physicians and MDs, and see what we can pull out. It'll be awesome. So thank you for your service. Thank you for your heart. Thank you, Dr. Spurrill, for just being the godly man that he has created you to be, and walking that out is a beautiful experience for me to even witness it with you and come alongside Synapse and your amazing clinic there in the Twin Cities. So God bless
Absolutely.
you. Thank you so much. Anything you want to say? Wrap this up with a bow other than yay, God.
Yeah, no, yeah, we are in a tremendously um, uh, profitable in a spiritual way season right now. So I just want people to know that if they're suffering in any way, shape, or form, know that God is good. There's an answer for every problem that exists out there, and we are coming through a.
My name is Katie Huff Mortensen, and my ministry is Katie Huff Ministries out of Lolo, Montana. Unfortunately, women in general, a lot of times will have self-betrayal and shame and settling in their careers or in their relationships. And so I am in the process of helping them to be, do, and have all God created them to be, and to set themselves free from whatever is holding them back.
My wife went to her women's retreat and she came back a different woman. She had so much more confidence.
I would say in general, they do not see or recognize how they're worth. They're worthy of it all. And they've been, beat down from a career or a relationship or family relationships, or they're just shouldering so much of the past is one big thing. And then the other thing is not realizing who they are in the eyes of Christ, that they are forgiven, they are loved unconditionally, that there are no mistakes, there's only lessons, and that God's plan is so perfect. And so they go from walking in clay, not sure, a little depressed, sad, feeling terrible about their past and being stuck and not moving forward, knowing that there's something much bigger for them in the future.
I had the wonderful chance to meet Katie when I went to a conference, and the first thing I noticed about her is she had an amazing energy.
Well, great people like the women that have come in the past and continue to come is that they are coming because they know that there is light at the end of their struggle.
She's an awesome leader, a mentor.
I have seen over the last 14 years of doing this, women come in broken and they are sad and depressed, frustrated, and they walk out smiling. They've had a breakthrough of what they can be, do, and have.
Attend her retreat and you will never be the same.
I have known Katie Huff Mortensen for about 16 years, and she is just an amazing leader.
It is pretty incredible. It's in Paradise, Montana, and that's not by chance. It's an absolutely gorgeous surrounding. There's a hot springs there that women can relax in between sessions. They can have their cup of coffee in the morning in the hot springs. We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the food is incredible. We are in a Camp Bighorn is the name of the location, and it is a Christian campsite. We have 2 sessions in the morning, we have 1 in the afternoon, and then this past year we actually did a ropes course where it was suspending ourselves and getting over fear, which was a huge stretch of your courage to be set free. And in this fall of last year, we actually went floating down the river in rafts as an excursion. We have the Bison Refuge as another excursion. So there's a big mix of, education and support and sessions followed by outings and relaxation, great food, great camaraderie, sisterhood, where people feel very safe and they have major breakthroughs. They can buy tickets at Eventbrite under Katie-Huff Ministries. So katy-huff.com is the website that they can go to get more information. So Katie-Huff, HUFF.com on my website, and they can see where it says events. And the cost depends on their lodging in the sense that they have 3 different tiers of lodging. They can be on the river, and that is the best view. You're on the river. The second one is in a cabin with 2 queen beds, and then a third option. So the rooming is the difference between anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 for those 4 days. And it includes everything in the food and the adventures and the lodging. I want you to go to katy-huff.com/events and fill out the form so I can call you and lead you from where you are today to the event in May 4th through the 7th, 2025 in Paradise, Montana, which is an incredible location where you will be set free to live your best life ever.